President Donald Trump says arrangements are now underway to bring Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelenskyy together for peace talks. All of this, of course, comes after Trump met with the Ukrainian president and European allies at the White House just yesterday. Trump also spoke to Putin on the phone from the Oval Office. And here's what he said earlier today about a possible Zelenskyy-Putin summit.
I thought I'd do first let them meet. You know, they haven't been exactly best friends. They haven't gotten along very well. And I called President Putin yesterday, and I do have a good relationship, but it, only matters if we get things done. Otherwise, I don't care about the relationship. So we're setting up a meeting. I sort of set it up with Putin and Zelenskyy, and, they're the ones that have to call the shots.
They're the ones that have to call the shots. Also yesterday, President Trump was caught on a hot microphone speaking about Putin to French President Emmanuel Macron. Listen to this.
I think he wants to make a deal. I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand? As crazy as it sounds.
You hear him say, I think he wants to make a deal. Despite President Trump's push for peace, Russia has continued to launch these deadly strikes on Ukrainian cities. NBC News White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor is live in Washington, D.C. Yamiche, first, I want to lay out what the potential options are at this point currently on the table. There's been questions of Ukraine joining NATO, having NATO-like protections, of a ceasefire, everything from a peace deal. I mean, the range feels like it's still wide, but it also narrowed a bit after this meeting with Zelenskyy. Tell us where we stand now.
Well, things are really a sort of live ball here, and things have narrowed in that President Trump has said that he does want to see NATO-like security guarantees for Ukraine. Yesterday, he also left the door open to the idea that U.S. troops might get on the ground in Ukraine. But then this morning in an interview, the president slammed that door shut, saying that he could assure Americans that U.S. troops will not be on the ground in Ukraine, though he said that there might be aerial support and that other European nations might have troops on the ground. The other thing to note here is that both Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy as well, and this is key, we are also hearing from the Kremlin, both of those countries are saying that talks are moving forward. We could see a meeting within the next 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, but it is in some ways a sign of progress. Morgan.
Speaking of that progress, Yamiche, I mean, Trump sounds, based on everything you described, pretty optimistic about a peace deal. But what about the European allies, many of them who showed up in that room, apparently in support of Zelenskyy and Ukraine more broadly? What are they saying about the next steps?
It's interesting. There is, of course, this issue of a ceasefire. European leaders saying that they want to see a ceasefire in order for peace negotiations to really move forward. The president is changing his opinion on that. And then you have the French president, Emmanuel Macron, who essentially says that he's pessimistic about all of this. Take a listen to what he told our colleague, Kristen Walker.
As far as I'm concerned, when I look at the situation and the facts, I don't see President Putin really willing to get peace now, but perhaps I'm too pessimistic. As long as President Putin and his people will consider they can win this war and get a better result by force, they will not negotiate.
And Morgan, I should also note that President Trump has said that even though he thinks President Putin might want to make a deal for him, he's also acknowledged that President Putin might not want to make a deal at all.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.